Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Rolfing, your host of the ACAP Preferred Vendor Education Series, and I'd like to welcome you to our latest session presented by Ereteam Analytics. Our presenter today is Demirhan Yenigun, Chief Analytics Officer, and he will be presenting building a multi-channel marketing campaign results dashboard utilizing Tableau visualization tools. But before I turn it over, I do have a few housekeeping items I need to take care of. This webinar, along with all ACAP calls and webinars, will be held in accordance with the ACAP antitrust guidelines, and these guidelines can be viewed on our website. We will be recording today's call, and we will post a slide deck and recording on our website by tomorrow morning. And the link to these items can be found in the invitation sent to you for this webinar. And please remember, if your plan is looking for a vendor, be sure to check out our list of preferred vendors on our website. Just look to the top of our homepage and click on the preferred vendors link. You can also post a note or even an RFP on the preferred vendor connection portal. And of course, during today's session, you can ask a question at any time by clicking on the Q&A icon in your Zoom window and typing in your question. And all questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Now, I'll pass it over to Demirhan to get things started.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Ron. And let me first thank you and the ACAP organization for facilitating this webinar. We are very pleased to be a part of the preferred vendor program, and we're delighted to be able to present today. I also would like to thank everyone who's joining this afternoon for our webinar. Let me quickly go through the presentation. Let me first give you the outline. I'm going to have a very short background of what we're trying to accomplish and talk a little bit about creating actionable intelligence and why it is always a challenge in our organizations. Talk a little bit about the Tableau BI platform, which is the platform we have used for this webinar. Talk about the data preparation step, as well as talking about the interactive dashboard and the story point examples that we have developed for this. And I will wrap up with some key takeaways at the end. So let me first start with the background. If you are in marketing organizations, you know that one of the most important mission is to create actionable intelligence based on the marketing campaign results. And this mission, as you know, can only be fulfilled if the accurately trackable results are available to the enterprise, as well as if you can actually utilize some of the state-of-the-art reporting and visualization tools that can basically provide the detailed insights you need to evaluate your campaigns. So in this webinar, what we're presenting is basically a relatively an easy way to show you how you integrate some campaign data and at the same time build an actionable analytics tool, a reporting dashboard utilizing Tableau software tools, as I mentioned. So let's start with why is always we are faced with the challenge of creating actionable intelligence. At least from where we stand, we see two areas that companies typically struggle. One area is really the data, obtaining and staging the required data for marketing campaign results. That seems to be one of the big challenges. And the second challenge is finding the right software tools to create an enterprise-wide reporting structure, which will allow the distribution of these reports across the enterprise with relative ease. So these, at least, from my perspective, are the biggest challenges. So in terms of the data challenges, what are typically those challenges? Number one is, as you know, if you are in the marketing profession, you know that data comes from multiple marketing channels, and the data sets are all separate data sets, and they need to be integrated, and basically which would require bringing sources from different marketing channels and combining them. Another aspect is the data is typically stored in different media sources. Some of them are stored in a database, some of them are spreadsheets, text files. So there needs to be a lot of manipulations and standardizations across all these input data in order to bring everything together to be able to analyze and create reports. And one of the biggest challenges, I mean, this is what we face every day, is the data has always issues. It's not very clean, consistent, accurate. So it requires a lot of data hygiene to clean up and make the data usable for analytic purposes. And another key challenge is in a typical enterprise, there could be multiple definitions of the key performance indicators everybody is tracking. And there might be different business units, different organizations within the enterprise interpreting results differently, or because they have different definitions. So there's kind of a lack of enterprise level one source of truth, which would basically be available to everybody, and everybody can actually go with that when they're making business decisions. On the software and data infrastructure side, some of the challenges are the data is organized typically in a lot of cases transactional systems or in separate systems, and they are kind of information silos, so to speak, so they are not necessarily connected. There is really no centralized campaign reporting and analysis platform that can be made available. And this is not just for the working managers, but at the, for all levels of the enterprise. There needs to be a centralized platform which could basically derive the business decision making in the enterprise. We are familiar ourselves, but I'm not sure if you guys are as well, but a lot of the data analytic work in today's business environment is performed in spreadsheets, which really limits the data analytic capabilities and extensive creation and distribution of reports. And that, seems to be a continuing trend, which we see. The other aspect is the reports are typically, static representations of the information. What I mean by that is these are basically reports which are already generated. You can look at the numbers and you try to interpret this. There is no capability to actually interact with the data and to understand the relationships between different attributes you're looking at, etc. So and plus the reports are typically distributed via email. There is really no central location where people come and look at reports. So what is the solution? Well, there are multiple software vendors and they can offer this solution addressing most of these challenges. The common theme for these vendors is really to provide the necessary tools to allow for, since data is the number one aspect of this, is to clean, standardize, and integrate the data from multiple sources. That's one of the fundamental things that the software needs to do, and also create the interactive visualizations that will allow for digging deep into the data and understand the relationships in the data, and also provide a central hub where people can come in and basically access these reports and look at them. The other aspect is these softwares also allow you to develop a what I would say a repeatable and documented process for report creation and maintenance. So this is not a one-off kind of activity. You basically can clearly document and outline what your process is and how the reports are created with all the additional information, definitions, etc., so that everybody can understand what they're looking at. And this is a continuous activity each time they understand that there are no changes to the information across time. Just quickly, there are many vendors, and this is the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for 2022. As you can see, Tableau is one of the leaders. It is under Salesforce. Let me actually. So the reason we use Tableau is one of the first tools that came into the market, and we have been very comfortable using it. We are not necessarily specifically advertising for them, but they are one of the major tools that are in the industry. And there are Microsoft products like Power BI. Then there are others, as you saw in the Magic Quadrant. So the reason we are using Tableau is, again, we feel comfortable using it, and the tools that we are very familiar. But we have also used other tools as well. So again, there is no limit to what you can do with all these different types of softwares. So the core products for Tableau are basically Tableau Prep Builder, which is the data preparation part of the software. It allows for cleaning, standardization, transformation, and aggregation of the data. Tableau Desktop is for actually building and publishing the reports. And Tableau Server, which is now Tableau Cloud, is really the way you can share and distribute these reports and dashboards across the organization. So these are basically the three separate tools that we typically work with when we are deploying an enterprise level reporting platform. So let me basically get to our example, which we wanted to show you today, which is the data preparation for the marketing campaign analysis. So we are utilizing really the basic functionalities in the Tableau Prep Builder, which has, again, a lot of functionalities which allows you to understand, how your data is structured. It allows you to connect to multiple data sources at the same time, and they could be all from different systems and in different media formats. It also evaluates, help you evaluate the need, whether you want to use a sampling or use the entire data to do the cleanup that you need to do on the data set. It allows you to look at the data, profile the data, and explore the specific characteristics of your data so that you have a good understanding of your data as you are preparing your data for analysis. One of the very important functions is basically allowing yourself to actually join multiple data sources for your analysis coming from multiple of files, or it could be again in different coming from different systems, and you can review, you can clean your data as you see necessary, and then you can output your data in any particular format, or which variables, which columns you want to include, etc. So it actually allows you to do that as well. And most importantly, it allows you to document your whole process doing this. So let me get to our examples. What we're trying to do here is we're going to show you an example of a marketing campaign data, how it is prepared, and how we actually quickly build an interactive dashboard with this data. The data for this example is not really any client data. This is basically prepared for this particular webinar. We are using some of the data that is available through the Tableau training exercises, as well as some other sources that we utilize to create a kind of a example data set for this particular webinar. So the data set that we utilize is organized in separate Excel files, and we want to just to demonstrate some of these data prep capabilities using the Tableau Prep Builder. So that's basically what we are going to look at. So our sample campaign data are organized in multiple files by region and year. So we have 4 files for the southern region, because it is also organized by year. These are all separate files. And then we have 3 files containing each one 4 years of data for the other regions that our company has, Central, East, and West. So we have 4 regions. And each data file contains marketing leads, which is what we care about, And we also have multiple attributes about these marketing leads, about these individuals who are applying for membership to our community health organization. We have, some basic demographic, some and other marketing related attributes. We have age, gender, lead, referral source, etc. So based on this, we first bring our data into Tableau Builder. So this is basically the initial page where you can see how to bring your data in Tableau Builder. As you can see, you can have data for your data can be organized in basically in file format. So it can be any kind of file format that you can pull in, as you can see. And then you can also have your data in a server, in a database, or in some form of a data storage that Tableau can connect to. So you can actually pull data, utilizing either file formats or whatever the wherever your data resides in. So once you specify what data inputs you're going to connect to, you basically build in your data preparation workflow by bringing in the data by basically utilizing these icons that are available. So this is basically the icon for bringing the first file in. This is the southern region file, basically. And as soon as you bring in the file, it actually gives you what your file address is, and it also gives you how Tableau is interpreting each of the fields and display the names. So you can actually do some edits here. You can change the data types, and basically specify exactly how you want your data to be interpreted in Tableau. The next step is basically doing some data hygiene steps. So first of all, basically, as you can see, as soon as you bring in your data, the Tableau Builder allows you to do profiles of your data in terms of the various attributes that you already have in your file. So for instance, you can see the distribution by age, age group, etc. So there are all these different attributes. You can immediately see what your data looks like in terms of each of these attributes. And what you see here is actually a cleaning step, which is for the data hygiene component. And you can do in a cleaning step all types of data manipulations. You can split values, you can rename fields, you can remove fields, you can filter data, you can do all different types of cleanup activities, which makes it extremely easy to basically work with the data and do the necessary cleanup that you need to do. And besides the cleanup step, there are these other functionalities here, which allows you to do, data aggregations, joining the data, joining the files, or maybe just like combining the files with the union option, and how you're going to output data, etc. So this is very easy to manipulate. Once you bring in your data, you can specify your cleaning step and do your cleaning, and then continue with other functionalities. Here, for instance, we said we have data in 4 different files for the South region, and then the 3 other regions. So we are basically combining the files using the union function here, which basically merges multiple files together. And then basically now you see the profiles of the combined file as you are actually doing this data cleanup process. So it is very, very powerful, as you can see, that while you are preparing your data, you can also see a lot of information about what your data looks like. So let me just quickly go over some of the steps that we performed in order to prepare the data. So what you can see in the software is you can drop icons on here, and each of these are files. And basically by utilizing the functionalities here, union allows you to join, clean allows you to clean. So you can actually see the entire workflow of your data preparation process. And basically here what we did is we brought the separate files, as you can see here. For the 4 South regions, we created a union of them, and then we brought the other regions in, and we created another union with them. Then we did some cleanup, renamed some fields, changed some data types, removed some fields, and standardized some values. And then we created an output, which will be used for our dashboard development. So that's basically a very simple workflow. And as you can see, from some of the other capabilities, functionalities that I showed you, you can do very, very complex cleanup steps here. But at the same time, the good thing about this is you can actually label each of these steps and how you transform and how you clean throughout this process. So you know that what each step represent, and you can have a very nice documentation of your entire data prep flow. And then the final workflow basically can be rerun anytime after making changes. So I can actually maybe make a change in one of these files, and then I can rerun the whole thing without having to basically create a new flow, or I can add additional steps to this flow in order to create my final output. So that's basically the way the data prep part works. And moving on to the dashboard development part. So again, Tableau can interact with multiple data connections, as I showed you with the data prep. It can be files, it can be it can be a server. But here I'm basically bringing in the extract that I created in Tableau, the prep builder, and basically just put this into the Tableau data source sheet as my source of the data. And again, you get similar type kind of analysis of the data in terms of what the field names are and what what the data looks like, etc. And then Tableau Desktop allows you to basically work almost like in Excel sheets, where you can basically create visualizations. It lists all the variables that you pulled in and organize them as attributes or dimensions or metrics, or what you are actually trying to count or sum up or whatever the case may be. And then there is a canvas here where you can build each visualization by dragging the dimensions into here and the metrics. And then on this side, you can select what type of a visualization you would like to utilize, whether it's a bar chart or like a line chart or a map, etc. So for the purposes of our example, what I did is I brought in the region variable, and then I counted the leads by each region by creating this visual. It's a simple bar plot. Then I opened another sheet and I created the total volume of leads by year. Again, utilizing just dropping the attributes here and the metrics from the bottom, leads here. And this is basically a simple line chart. And then I included another sheet where I can actually look at my leads by my lead referral source as well as the gender of the person. So this is another quick representation that I came up with. And then I wanted to see geographically how I'm doing nationwide in terms of these, not only by the regions, but at the same time by states. So I basically created a quick map of United States where I can see like number of leads that are coming from all these different states under each of the regions, region files that I combined, basically. So these are individual representations. And of course, one quick way we can actually make some of these individual visualizations presented in a more comprehensive manner is to put them onto a dashboard. This is exactly what I did. I brought each of these individual visualizations onto a dashboard canvas. So I have my map, I have my bar chart here, I have my gender and household, number of members in the household, and I have my region chart here. I have my marketing channels under the referral channel. One of them is marketing, so I have the drill down of my marketing channels here, and then I have my line chart, which you saw over here. So basically, combining these multiple sheets allows me to create a dashboard where I can analyze all my leads in terms of the various attributes that are important to me. So I know that how the leads are distributed throughout the nation, as well as I know which referral source is bringing me the most amount of leads. And I also know my gender and number of household information. And so I can actually look at all these separate charts in the context of a comprehensive view. But one good aspect of this is I can actually interact with this chart. Basically, what I can do is I can combine each of these visualizations and the data behind them so that I can actually do any kind of drill downs. Like, for instance, I click on the state of Texas, and then in all the other reports, what I see is the data only for the state of Texas. So in that regard, that allows me to basically understand state by state, what the specific distributions are, if there are anything very different in certain states compared to the others. And this is not just using map as your trigger to do the analysis, but you can actually, once this data is combined in all these sheets, you can click on any of these charts, which will also basically give you the view of the other charts. So I can, instead of looking at the geography, I can look at, okay, well, what is my marketing channel? What is that looking like? And I can click on this and see my results on each of these other visualizations that I have. So this is basically how you build the dashboard and do your analysis interacting with the dashboard. But then, like, what is this telling me is really what the management would be interested in. So in that regard, once you do your interactive analysis, what you can do is, in order to make this a kind of an actionable analysis output, which can be consumed in the enterprise, you can create a story point where you can actually see some of the key observations from your data. So you can provide the insights from the analysis that you have built. So basically what happens is you can create a storyboard, which is, these are the elements of the storyboard. This first one is basically connected to this visualization. So you're saying that, well, central region is your most important region in terms of bringing leads. So you created that basically point. And then you came down and you saw some other trend here, which is important to you. So you actually created another point here, explaining why that point is also an important finding from this analysis. So basically you keep doing that, and at the end of the day, what you are creating is a story which really tells what you found in the data. So the person who's looking at this besides you can immediately see what your data is telling and how you can actually respond to this data. So you basically summarize your findings, and basically this will allow you and allow your management to understand how things are working and how you can actually change or adjust your strategy for your future campaigns. So basically that's fairly straightforward to build. And once you build this, then the next task is distributing these reports. You can actually have shared folders. You can have internal websites where you can actually post your output. And if you are not utilizing Tableau's distribution capabilities, you can still utilize basically the Tableau output that comes out. But each person would need a Tableau Reader software, which is like an Adobe Reader to read PDF documents. So in the case of Tableau, you will need the Tableau Reader. So you can actually not only look at the report, but also interact with the report the same way that I've shown you. Or if you actually have a large enough distribution list that you would like to distribute this report to, you might look into the Tableau server option, which will allow you basically to publish these reports in a central location where people can come in and access the reporting at that particular location. So basically, that's how you prepare the data, how you create the reports, and how you distribute the reports. Just to kind of summarize what I've discussed so far, let me basically really concentrate on some of the key takeaways from this. One of them is basically, as you know, with the advancement of the data analytics and visualization software, so it is relatively easy to build these, not only with Tableau but with other tools, as I mentioned. Power BI is also very, very powerful. And there is Domo, there's ThoughtSpot, there is a whole host of other software products which are basically trying to address the same task. And this actually also saves you operating from a kind of a spreadsheet environment where you are working with spreadsheet and you have issues of version control and sending emails across the enterprise. You can actually have a centralized reporting capability utilizing one of these software. So in that regard, it is a very convenient thing for you to do. The other aspect is you will definitely still struggling with challenges about the data quality, the data accuracy, the data standardization issues. So this is also allowing you to basically address those issues in a very kind of visual and a very nicely documented way to do that data preparation and do the necessary cleanup, integration to basically to be able to prepare the data as quickly and as effectively as possible. And at the same time, basically, this time spent on really the building actionable business intelligence has been dramatically reduced by utilizing this type of an approach. And it is really, in the old days, this would take, months to build, but now you can do these things in a matter of weeks, or in some cases, in a matter of days. So in that regard, it is a huge, huge improvement and efficiency gain taking this type of an approach. And finally, all the time saved can be really spent on analysis, to actual analysis, looking at the data, interacting with the data, and try to identify, understand what are the important aspects of the data that is going to lead you for your decision making and improve your campaigns, improve your marketing efforts in terms of understanding what channels work more effectively than the others, what areas you should focus on, what demographic you should focus on, etc. So in that regard, it actually allows you to spend less time with preparation and system building, but more time on working with data and deriving some useful insights from the data. That's pretty much it. I appreciate you following this webinar, and we can actually now open it up for any specific questions, if there are any questions about this material.
Okay, well, while we wait for a moment for people to type in any questions that they have, I just want to remind everyone that the slide deck and recording will be posted on the ACAP website by tomorrow morning. So you can access that. Otherwise, we'll give you a few seconds here to type in any questions you have. I also would like to thank everyone for taking time out of their schedules to join us today. And I'd like to thank Ereteam for their time and for a very informative webinar today. Well, it looks like we don't have any questions right now. So again, I'd like to thank everyone. Hope you have a good afternoon and stay safe. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.